A few years ago, there was a PR man who went over the very same route that Hannibal went over the Alps over 2,000 years ago. This public relations man said that what Hannibal did, crossing over the Alps in the middle of winter with his soldiers and elephants, could not be done. But they did it. Now, when Hannibal crossed over the Alps in the middle of winter, their soldiers were strong and vigorous because of the winter. And when they came over into Italy, they came into a little town called Capua. And they very easily defeated the Italian army. But a very strange thing happened. That the longer they stayed in Capua, the softer they got. And the Italians regrouped and defeated Hannibal. Now I know what you're saying. What has this got to do with me? Or you, or myself? I think that this incident is very pertinent. I think that every one of us Americans are taking it too easy. And we don't realize the wonderful privileges and the freedoms that we have. And I think that every one of us, you and you and you and myself, we take our country for granted. And what I'm fearful about is that I'm afraid someday that maybe we're going to lose it. I have a collection of flags. I go to the colleges, high schools, or any group that will listen to me, and I take my collection of about 37 flags. And I go to the students and I try to show them how we got our flag. I have a flag there that's over 130 years old, 33-star design. My parishioners gave it to me at St. Gabriel in Columbus on my first anniversary. I could hardly believe it. I sent it to the Smithsonian Institute and it came back verified. I have another flag, 45-star design, I picked up for $2.50 at a garage sale. Well, I take these flags and I go around and talk to the young people, try to show them how we got our American flag. And on one occasion I was given a talk at a high school, and as I was walking over to the auditorium with one of the school officials, I asked him, "Do the students say the Pledge of Allegiance?" And he said, "No, Father. We don't say the Pledge of Allegiance because if you do, it'll become common and it won't mean anything." So I said to him, "When did you say to your wife last, 'I love you'?" And he said, "This morning." And I said, "Well, then don't say it again. Don't say it again, because it won't have any meaning." But there is that thrill of a monotony, isn't there? Why play the second piece of the band? Why have the second basketball game? Or the second volleyball game? Why eat the second pizza? Because there is that certain thrill of monotony. The father on the baby on the father's knee. Do it again until the father's totally exhausted. Gentlemen, when we say a Pledge of Allegiance, we say the Pledge of Allegiance to a flag. And it's nothing more than saying that I love my country. I don't know how many of you know Bishop Sheen, but I'm sure that many of your parents and visitors do. Bishop Sheen was the auxiliary bishop of New York, and he took a survey of the young students there in the senior class, and 80% of the senior surveyed said that patriotism was unnecessary. The love of our country doesn't mean a thing. Now, patriotism is a moral virtue. It's no different than obedience, honesty, discipline, purity. It's nothing more than saying to my country, I love you. Gentlemen, that flag back there doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't mean a thing. It happens to have the accidents of being red, white, and blue. That's all it is. Until I'm a Catholic priest, and in my home, in the churches, we have crucifix. That crucifix doesn't mean a thing. It happens to have the accidents of being made out of plastic, wood, or metal. That's all it is. Some of you are Christians. That cross of yours doesn't mean a thing. It too happens to have the accidents of being made out of metal, wood, or plastic. Until you begin to believe that a man come down from heaven and he died. He died on this cross for you and me, then don't you see that all of a sudden that cross has meaning. And gentlemen, until you begin to realize that literally millions of men and women have died for no other reason than they loved you and you and you and me. Until you begin to realize that literally millions of men and women are walking around this country crippled, maimed, and insane for no other reason than they loved you and you and you and me. And then all of a sudden, don't you see, that flag has meaning. Back in Tri-Valley High School, Dresden, Ohio, we have great basketball teams. We've been to the state 3 times and won twice. If you were to go into our gymnasium, you would see about maybe 25 or 30 banners there. Those banners don't mean a thing. Not a thing. They happen to have the accidents of being gold and black. You try to tell that to those young boys and girls. Because those banners are a symbol. They're a symbol of hard work, of dedication, of wanting to succeed. It's a symbol of coaches who help them to be victorious, of cheerleaders who cheerlead them on, parents who supported them. And then don't you see, all of a sudden, those banners have meanings. And I would dare any of you to go into that gymnasium and try to desecrate that symbol. I told you that I was a Catholic priest. But let me tell you this. If anyone were to dare to desecrate that flag in my presence, they would have to fight me, Roman collar and all, and I would die for that symbol of love. you why. You see, there's just a little bit of me in that flag. 4 years as a tech sergeant in World War II. But there's a lot of your fathers and your mothers and your brothers and your sisters and your uncles and your aunts and great men and women still serve in this country. Now don't you see that all of a sudden that flag has meaning? John F. Kennedy tells us, quoting Edmund Burke, "Evil will only triumph when good people do nothing. Evil will only triumph when good people like you and I do nothing." Gentlemen, you're the luckiest people in the world. Gentlemen, you're the richest people in the world. You know why? Because you're an American. Gentlemen, we are the richest and the luckiest persons in the world. And I wouldn't trade the whole world for the good old USA. Back during the Civil War, when wars were fought in a little different way, the color guard got up in front of the regiment, and the colonel happened to see it, and he sent a runner up to the colors. He said, "You tell the color guard to come back to the regiment." And when the runner got up there, the color guard said, "You tell him to bring the regiment up to the colors." And gentlemen, that's why I'm here tonight. I want you to go back to your schools, to your homes, to your communities, to your churches, to your organizations, and tell everybody what a wonderful country this is and what a beautiful symbol of love that we have in this American flag. I want you, gentlemen, to go back to your families, to your schools, and to your communities, and tell everyone that you meet to write to your senators and to your congressmen so that we can get this decision of the Supreme Court reversed. Gentlemen, gentlemen,